Intro. We're gonna stay on the rundown. I'll do the segments, and because they're on Halloween Eve, the future high school stars of tomorrow are ready to deliver the treats. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Pequeno. Thanks for dialing us in on the NYFCA Sports Network. Today, two championships will be had on the 6U and 7U divisions from North Canyon High School. It all kicks off with the 7U division with the Stampede taking on the Diplomats. They'll be meeting for the third time this season. The Diplomats won the previous two matchups. The Diplomats, led by head coach Marquel Johnson, a record of 6-0 on the season. They are playing fantastic football, and they have some incredible talent. And they won last week's semifinal matchup over the Knights by the count of 33-0. They're led by quarterback Barry Shaughnessy, a dual-threat quarterback and can do it all, and tailbacks Major Coleman and, yes, Marquel Johnson Jr. On the other side, the Stampede come in with a record of 4-2, led by head coach Anthony Broom. And yes, his team playing good football as well. In the semifinals, they knocked off Copper State by the count of 36-19. They are led by quarterback Caleb Horrocks. He's got a high IQ, can run and throw. He has two dynamic tailbacks to work with in Dominic Gibbons and Jordan Miller. Yes, all game breakers, players that can get it done. 7U championship on the line from North Canyon. Yes, indeed. And we'll have more from North Canyon coming up next on the NYFCA Sports Network. Wow. That was just do it, right? So we're going to, do you want to go straight to introductions, Chris? Since these kids are waiting? Kind of go off the game plan a little bit. We'll just do it. Yeah, well. My son gets overheated. That's the Stampede. So I'm going to walk over to the main PA system and introduce everyone, okay? Am I doing that? I'm going to do that over the over the PA system, Chris, okay? Chris, let me know when I'm ready to go. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to North Canyon High School for today's NYFCA championship game between the 7U Stampede. Now, the team introductions for the 7U Stampede. Bob Martinez. Number 1, Elijah Broom. Jason Loza. Williams. Laird. Jason Mammon. Out of town champ like Mayweather, got a new crib off the boxing ring. Put the new 40 autos on the Jeep, run up 30 in a week. I don't keep 45 under the pillow, 45,000 in the sheets. I want the bag, there's no hole, she ain't married to me. About the street, red gut period. I just been balling out every season. Cause I left in the bleachers. I just been married to double cup. I gotta put me a four inside another leader. Time to
I gotta leave her. I'm a real street nigga. Gotta keep it a rap with my people. Turn the whole squad to bosses. I can't be kicking this shit. I'm a Adidas. I ain't gotta care. I been getting cheese like I'm Velveeta. I'm in a two-seater with two bad bitches. Like I'm white, I'm finna have a zebra. She wanna ride in the back, cause I been having them racks. I ain't showing. She say I ain't got them racks. Thought you know me better than that, but they ain't knowing. She say my VVS is so annoying. I bought a coupe to spoil her. She wanna look out the roof in the morning. Why I got her a new persona. I wanna ball like a triple-double bird with the racks. Living my best life, shorty. You can't never get attached. Went to the hood, got a couple keys, then I ran off. Like that.
Number 30, Mason Dominguez. Number 33, Prince Sauceda. Number 42, Christopher Lozano. Number 52, Enoch Chavez. Number 55, Pedro Brianes Jr. And the Stampede led by head coach Anthony Brew for the 7U Stampede. Next up, the 7U Diplomats. Diplomats number 1, TJ McGill. Number 2, Major Coleman. Number 3, Alfred Trevino Jr. Number 5, Peyton Olson. Number 7, Barry Shaughnessy. Number 8, Marquale Johnson Jr. Number 10, Jakari Russell. Number 12, Zach Gray. Number 13, Jackson. Number 16, Number 17, Noah Stevens. She wanna look out the roof in the morning. Why I got her a new persona. I wanna ball like a triple-double bird with the racks. Living my best life, shorty. You can't never get attached. Went to the plug, got a couple P's, then I ran off. Like Zach, hey, we been selling in the projects. Like it's New Jack City. On my bed, gotta hop on top the bag and get it. She call me 'cause I'm in. Number 24, Caden CJ Richardson. 25, the second.
I just been married to double cup. I gotta pull me a 4 inside another liter. Top the beds and then run it up. I gotta put the new bells inside of the freezer. Back at the trap, I was ducking them people, ducking the birds, sending out them eagles. All of my diamonds gon' bust out the meter. I'm dripping water, Aquafina. Then that bitch, she think I need her. Hit her one time and then I gotta leave her. I'm a real street. Gotta keep it a rap with my people. Turn the whole squad to bosses. I can't be kicked, I'm Adidas. been balling out every season. No excuses, I left in the bleachers. I just been married to double cup. I gotta pour me a 4 inside another liter. Tie up the bands and then run it up. I gotta put the new bells inside of the freezer. Back at the trap, I was ducking them people, ducking the birds, sending out the eagles. All of my diamonds gon' bust out the beater. I'm dripping water, Aquafina.
Welcome back to North Canyon High School for the 7U championship game between the Stampede and the Diplomats. Squads meeting at midfield for the coin toss. We are closing in on what will be a glorious championship day from North Canyon High School. The Diplomats coming in with a record of 6-0, led by head coach Marquel Johnson. His son, Marquel Johnson Jr., a star running back on the team. The Diplomats with a fantastic showing in the semifinals with a 33 thumping of the Knights. Marquel Johnson, the head coach, feels his youngsters are playing great football and are peaking at just the right time. On the other side, for the Stampede, led by head coach Anthony Broom, his youngsters come in with a dose of confidence with a big 36-19 victory last week in the semifinals, and they're ready to get after it and feel they have what it takes to knock off the Diplomats here today. Some good football to be played here at North Canyon. The future high school football stars of tomorrow. And as you can see, the Diplomats dressed in the black and pink and silver. A very unique combination, but give them the props. Those kids can bring it. On the other side for the Stampede, dressed in the gray, black, and orange. Also ready to get after it and show what they can do. In the nightcap later on, we have two Stampede teams facing off in the 6U championships, the black and the orange. But right now, it's all about the Diplomats and the Stampede. The youngsters out on the field, getting ready to show what they can do. And before we get into action, now it's time to take a break for the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, before we see these fantastic youngsters square off today, I ask you to please rise for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave.
All right, we are closing in on the 7U title game between the Stampede and the Diplomats. The Diplomats dressed In the high octane, pink, black, and silver. The Stampede in the gray, black, and orange. Stampede led by head coach Anthony Broom. And on the other side for the Diplomats, head coach Marquale Johnson, Sr. The Diplomats will be kicking off, and the Stampede get to go on offense first. Stampede with a record of 4-2. They feel they've got the poise and have the ability to make the noise to pull this one out today, coming off an impressive semifinal victory last week, 36-19. These squads have met twice this season, Diplomats winning both matchups. But Coach Broom feels his team has gotten better throughout the season and has the ability to pull off the championship effort to pull this one out today. Stampede will receive, and we are literally seconds away from the 7U championship game. And here we go. Short kick. No one's going to the ball, but it'll be downed, looks like, at the 48-yard line. So the Stampede will come on offense first, led by quarterback Caleb Horrocks, a dual-threat athlete. Joining him in the backfield, Dominic Givens and Jordan Miller, two explosive running backs. Wide receiver Donovan Caceres, a big play wide receiver, as well as Cash Roman. Offensive line, Jason Loza. Guard Harley Hill, center Roman Cota. Guard Benjamin Jones. Tackle Cameron Laird, and tight end Hill Williams. So here comes the Stampede, ready to get after it. Just getting underway from North Canyon High. These two teams very familiar with each other. Faced twice in the regular season. Diplomats lined up, ready to get after it. Stampede in a bunch formation. The handoff. Looks like a very short gain by Caleb Horrocks.
Second down.
Might have been a miscommunication in the backfield. So we are looking at a 2nd and 10 situation for the Stampede. This one just underway from North Canyon. Bunch formation for the Stampede. Horrocks under center. This time the handoff to Dominic Givens, and Givens is eaten up alive in the backfield for a loss. So far the Diplomats bringing their A game defensively.
Big loss on the play.
The big
Third
fellows in the trenches getting it done. So it's going to be 3rd and 12 for the Stampede. And whatever you do, folks, don't adjust your vision. These uniforms are bright and they are eye-popping. 3rd and 12 for the Stampede. Horrocks. Shotgun. One back set behind him. Ball is loose. Number 24 on the direct snap. Breaks outside. Excellent run by Jordan Miller, but he'll be short, bringing up a 4th and short. So early on, Anthony Broom and his Stampede going to test the waters with a 4th and short situation against the Diplomats. But excellent play on the 3rd down execution. Jordan Miller under center with a direct snap and rips off a nice gain. Coach lining up his offensive unit correctly. Bunch formation. This time Caleb Horrocks under center. One back set. That's Dominic Givens. Horrocks trying to get outside, and he is taken down. Excellent work by the big fella. He is pumped up, and that is number 55, Gabe Jones, the defensive end. coming from his left side and taking Horrocks down for the loss. So the Diplomats making a stand early in this one. Now the Stampede, their defensive unit will come out on the field. Diplomats led by cornerback Prince Sauceda, defensive end Donovan Caceres, tackle Cameron Laird, Benjamin Jones, Dominic Gibbons, defensive end Hill Williams, and cornerback Grayson Castro Lim, outside linebacker Cash Bayman, inside linebacker Cameron Laird, as well as Elijah Broom and outside linebacker Caleb Horrocks. And here come the Diplomats led by quarterback Barry Shaughnessy, Major Coleman, and Marquell Johnson in the backfield. And we have a flag on the field.
Penalty on the play.
Looks like too many men on the field for the Stampede. Coach Broom is trying to line his players up accordingly. And in youth football, sometimes it's just all about nurturing and teaching as the play goes on. So the Diplomats on offense for the first time, ball at their own 47-yard line. Snap to the outside, and he is on his way. Number 7, Barry Shaughnessy.
With a little trickery on the play.
A little
Touchdown.
trickeration. Let's see if it stands by the refs. They caught everyone off guard. Coach Marquell Johnson thinks he's got a touchdown. The Diplomats, that whole
Penalty on the
sidelines, thinks they have 6 on the board. But the call goes against Coach Johnson and his team. So it looked pretty for a second, but it won't count. And Coach Johnson, furious as he's trying to get an explanation from the refs. So that'll push the Diplomats back. And the Stampede get a break right there. So the Diplomats will start at their own 31-yard line. Diplomats on offense. Once again, Barry Shaughnessy, a quarterback. Running back, Major Coleman, Marquell Johnson. Tight end, Alfred Trevino Jr. Brandon Walker. At right tackle, right guard, Gabe Jones. Center, Gordon Labata. Left guard, Maximus Dominguez. Left tackle, J.J. McGill. At tight end, Karan Oglesby. And at wide receiver, number 10, Jakari Russell. So here come the Diplomats, starting at their own 31-yard line.
Starting from first and back. Very far back. Second down.
Shaughnessy under center, 2-back set. The handoff. It goes to number 8, Marquell Johnson. And Johnson gets outside, and Johnson rambling to the 45-yard line. Marquell Johnson Jr. Coach Johnson had nothing but great things to say about his son. Tremendous vision, great explosion, does tremendous damage when he gets to the perimeter and comes up big right there
With a great run on the play.
with a
Third
gain
down.
of 24. So the Diplomats come out strong with the off-tackle run for a gain of 24 yards. They are on the move at the Stampede 45-yard line. Shaughnessy under center, 2-back set for the Diplomats. With the 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. This time, Shaughnessy on the keeper. Shaughnessy, great job, breaks to the outside. Shaughnessy inside the 30 to the 25, finally taken down at the 22-yard line. Barry Shaughnessy on the keeper. The excellent move. Shook off a defender
And that
and
run
takes
will
it
take
down.
him First down.
Call it the 23-yard line. So the Diplomats on the move. A great defensive stand by Marquell Johnson and his defensive unit, and now seeing his offense go to work with back-to-back great runs and setting up with a first down at the Stampede 22-yard line. Shaughnessy under center. Ball is on the turf, and it's picked up by the Stampede. Excellent work by number 52 for the Stampede. And coming up with the play for the Stampede is Enoch Chavez. But there was a penalty on the play against the Stampede. So the Diplomats, actually the Stampede do have the ball as the play is run by Dominic Givens, right tackle for a short gain.
Short gain on the play. Second down.
So the Stampede weather the storm, come up with a fumble recovery, back on offense with a second down and 8 to go. Coach Broom and Coach Johnson know each other well. These teams have played twice already. And so far, both teams throwing some early punches early and surviving knockouts. Stampede come in with a tight formation. Direct snap. And Jordan Miller takes it to the 28-yard line. So we'll call it a 3rd and 4 for the Stampede in their second possession.
Third down.
The Stampede feeling that the third time could be the charm against the Diplomats. And so far, they've held their own, coming up with a big defensive stop. And now, in their second possession here in the first quarter, trying to make some noise on the scoreboard. Stampede coming to the line with a tight formation. Horrocks under center with a one-back set. This time, it looks like Jordan Miller now under center. Miller takes the direct snap. Miller bounces it outside, and Miller is going to get the first down, stays in bounds. Excellent work by Jordan Miller on the direct snap. Gets the corner and moves the chains. And excellent work by that Stampede offensive line. Can't say enough about them. Led by number 2, tackle Jason Loza. Number 99, guard Harley Hill. Number 56, center Roman Cota. Number 62, guard Benjamin Jones. And number 5, tackle Cameron Laird. And tight end number 26, Hill Williams. So the Stampede pick up their first down on the great run by Jordan Miller. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Stampede getting some last-second instructions. The handoff. It's to number 23, and he gets taken down. Excellent work by the Diplomats at the point of attack. Can't say enough about the aggressiveness of number 2, defensive end Alfred Trevino Jr. Coach Johnson talked about Trevino Jr., the kind of kid, he's physical, moves fast, comes after it, and he showed it on that play right there. So the Stampede now facing a second down, making some substitutions. No score early from North Canyon High in the 7U title game. Stampede. The handoff to number 24. And once again, the Diplomats stepping up big. Big pressure provided by that defensive effort
Another loss on the play.
by the Diplomats. So now the Stampede have a 3rd down and long. And what will Coach Broom dial up here for his Stampede? Talking to Coach Broom this week, he felt very confident that his team could come and knock off the Diplomats. He feels his squad is the better of the two, now with a chance to prove it on a Super Saturday from North Canyon. 3rd and long for the Stampede. Horrocks under center. 1 back set. The handoff to Jordan Miller. Miller breaks inside. Excellent work by Jordan Miller. Stops. Excellent run, but he's going to fall short by 3 yards. But Jordan Miller showing the moves and the vision, but comes up short on the attempt by 3 yards. So it's going to be 4th down for the Stampede.
4th down on the 34-yard line.
And let's see what Coach Broom dials up for his team. Excellent work by Jordan. Coming up. He got the 1st down. Stampede in a tight formation. Horrocks under center. No back set. Horrocks looking to pass. Gets it downfield. And he finds his receiver. But it looks like it will be short. And the Diplomats will take over. So excellent work by the Diplomats defensively. Now they go back to work on the offensive side of the football. Diplomats led by quarterback Barry Shaughnessy with 2 outstanding tailbacks in Major Coleman and running back Marquale Johnson Jr. Stampede getting things in order defensively. Great to see all these great youngsters out here playing some football, learning about teamwork and discipline. Shaughnessy under center for the Diplomats. 2 back set. The handoff is to number 10. He breaks outside. Jakari Russell. And Jakari Russell is going to go in for a Diplomats touchdown.
Touchdown.
Jakari Russell on the end around. And we'll call it a 38-yard touchdown. And the Diplomats get on the board first. But there is a flag on the field. And let's see what the call is. And it's against the defense. And the Diplomats strike first on the Jakari Russell. Call it a 38-yard touchdown. And a 7-0 lead for the silver, pink, and black. And that is a styling combination as Marquale Johnson and his offense gets it done early in this one on the end around to Jakari Russell. Call it 38 yards. Now the Diplomats with Shaughnessy under center will go for the extra point. Shaughnessy, 2 backs in the backfield. Ball on the turf. And Shaughnessy is taken down immediately. So the Diplomats will have to settle for 6 points. But it doesn't get any better or more electric on the Jakari Russell 38-yard end around for 6. Great action from North Canyon. And when I had a chance to talk to Diplomats coach Marquale Johnson earlier this week, had nothing but praise for Mr. Jakari Russell. Talked about his game-breaking ability, the speedster. He said, the kind of kid that when he gets in the secondary, you're not going to bring him down. And that was quite evident on that play as Russell gets the Diplomats on the board first. These two squads met earlier twice in the regular season. Diplomats won the opener against Stampede 21-2, and then beat the Stampede again, call it week 4 by the count of 12-0. And now they meet again for the championship. And either way, it's just great to see these good youngsters out here playing football, learning about discipline, teamwork, camaraderie, and building memories for a lifetime. So the Diplomats with an early 6-0 lead, going back to kick. Stampede on the return. Jordan Miller set to receive. And Miller will pick it up. Having some issues, he'll just fall on it. And the Stampede will have the ball at their own 32-yard line.
Good kickoff by the Diplomats.
So the Stampede go back on offense for the third time in this first quarter. And the Diplomats with an early 6-0 lead on the Jakari Russell 38-yard touchdown. So Coach Broom was confident about his team coming in, facing this Diplomats team. A Diplomats team with a record of 6-0. They've handled their business throughout the season. Now Coach Broom's team facing some adversity, trying to find themselves as they trail in this one, chasing the game. And so far, have only a couple really good offensive plays to their credit. Now it's about adjustments and whether the youngsters can step up for the Stampede and show what they can do to make some noise on the scoreboard. Call it first down at their own 32 for the Stampede. A tight formation with Caleb Horrocks under center. One back set. That's Givens. And the refs blow the whistles. And it looks like the Diplomats were looking to make a change defensively, bringing in another player. And they do just that. So here we go. Stampede with a first down from their own 32. Tight formation. Horrocks under center. Direct snap. Jordan Miller takes it. And Miller working so hard and giving a great effort. Miller for a 3-yard gain. Jordan Miller.
Second down by Stampede.
Showing his moves in this contest.
34.
A couple dazzling runs.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end.
And that is the end of the first quarter. And so far, give it up to the silver, black, and pink of the Diplomats. A squad undefeated, coming in with a record of 6-0. And so far, they lead early in this one on a Jakari Russell 38-yard touchdown.
With so much drama in the LBC, it's kinda hard being Snoop D-O double G, but I somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky ass hits like every single day. May I kick a little something for the G's and make a few hits as I breeze through. 2 in the morning and the party still jumping 'cause my mama ain't home. I got some freaks in the living room getting it on, and they ain't leaving till 6 in the morning. So what you gonna do? I got a pocket full of rubbers and my homeboys do too. So turn off the lights and close the door. But for what? We don't love them now. So we gon' blow an ounce to this. G's up, freeze up for a second now, bounce to this. Laid back. With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Laid back. With my mind on my money and my everybody got their cups, but they ain't chip niggas. Now these friends the same, happen all the time. You gotta enjoy my pool, I gotta get mine.
Welcome back to the NYFCA title game between the Stampede and the Diplomats. Diplomats scored early in the first and a Jakari Russell 38-yard touchdown. Stampede with a 34 from their 38-yard line. Their third possession of the first half as Coach Broom and his offensive staff figure out a way to dissect this very dominant defensive front of the Diplomats. Caleb Horrocks make that. Jordan Miller will be under center with a one-back set for the Stampede. Miller takes the snap, and there's a flag down on the field, and that will go against the Stampede, pushing them back. So the Stampede coming in with some momentum after last week's semifinal victory over the Knights by the count of 36-19. Coach Broom feels his youngsters are playing well, but so far, offensively, other than a couple Jordan Miller runs, then they haven't been able to do too much offensively. So now they're facing a 3rd and 9 at their own 33. Miller under center. One back set, that's Gibbons. Miller trying to break outside, getting around the corner, and he is knocked out of bounds. Great pursuit by number 20 of the Diplomats. Big pressure by Karan Oglesby. Excellent work coming from the left side and taking Miller down. So now a 4th down for the Stampede, and the Diplomats feeling good about where they are in this one with a 6-0 lead and being able to control the tempo in this one. So right now, a timeout on the field as Marquell Johnson, Sr., will be talking things over with his youngsters. And on the other side, Coach Broom pulling his Stampede over, trying to regroup. Thanks for joining us on the NYFCA Sports Network. Championship game number 1 with the 7U Diplomats in the pink, black, and silver taking on the 7U Stampede, decked out in the gray, black, and orange. Beautiful day for football on Halloween Eve. And right now the kids are dialing up the treats for their parents, their coaches, and their loved ones out there, whether on hand or catching the live stream throughout Arizona. We are getting back to live action as the teams are getting lined up. Coach Johnson trying to direct traffic for his squad, and meanwhile the Stampede doing the same. Both sides trying to coordinate right now. And in case you're just tuning in, Diplomats got on the board first in the first quarter with a Jakari Russell 38-yard end around for the touchdown. And Coach Johnson talked about his game-breaking ability, saying, look, if this kid gets in the secondary, you're not going to catch him. And Russell showed that on that play. And then excellent work by the Diplomats on that last defensive sequence, courtesy of Karan Oglesby, the linebacker, coming from his side and chasing down Jordan Miller. So far the Diplomats showing their athletic ability on the offensive side of the ball, their game-changing ability by Jakari Russell, and the speed and quickness laterally, courtesy of Karan Oglesby on that great open field tackle. So now the Diplomats, as we close in on getting back to live play, going back on offense. And the coaches working so hard to get their kids lined up, teaching and grooming and maturing them to play this fantastic game. Working with them to get them in the proper place, making some substitutions as they go. And here come the Diplomats. Two backs in the backfield. Back to throw. Pass deep, almost picked off. Excellent work by
That play
the
is no good.
Stampede secondary as
Second down.
Barry Shaughnessy was going deep looking for the big play, but the Stampede in that secondary, led by Jordan Miller. In corners, Brent Sauceda and Grayson Castro-Lim coming up with the big defensive play to break it up. So now a 2nd and 10 from their 28-yard line. Second quarter just underway from North Canyon High School. Shaughnessy under center for the Diplomats. Two backs in the backfield. Delayed handoff for Mark Quayle Johnson, and he is taken down. Excellent work by that Stampede defensive front.
Loss on the play. Third down.
A loss on the play for the Diplomats. So now the Diplomats facing a 3rd and long at their own 25. Stampede stepping up defensively. Hitting the gaps and getting after the ball carrier for these stops. So now 3rd and 13 for the Diplomats. Shaughnessy under center. Two backs in the backfield. One of those is Mark Quayle Johnson, Jr. Handoff. It's to number 2, and that is Major Coleman. Coleman gets into the secondary, but gets taken down, and he will be short by 7 yards. So it's a 4th and 7 for the Diplomats.
Fourth down.
And the Stampede coming up big defensively. Under 7 minutes left in the first half, and a tight defensive game in this one. Stampede holding their own, and the Diplomats looking to get on the scoreboard yet again. So the Stampede will start in their own territory and get another opportunity to draw closer in this one, trailing 6-0. Both teams defensively really getting after it. Only scoring this one, a Jakari Russell 38-yard touchdown. Great work by the explosive wide receiver for the Diplomats.
Ball now on the 34-yard line. 1st and 10.
Mark Quayle
Warriors
Johnson,
Stampede.
his first year with the team. Loves coaching the kids, loves teaching, and on the other side for Coach Broom. Grew up in South Phoenix, went to Camelback High. Loves sharing his knowledge with the youngsters. So 1st and 10 from the 34 for the Stampede. Back on offense. Caleb Horrocks under center, 2-back set. For the Stampede. This one a delayed handoff. An excellent tackle by the Diplomats. Excellent work by Alfred Trevino Jr. busting up the play at the point of attack. Diplomats
Loss on the play. Second
showing their
down.
aggressiveness. Now it's a 2nd and 11 for the Stampede at their own 33. Quarterback under center, 2-back set, delayed handoff, and Miller trying to do something, but he is eaten up in the backfield. And excellent work
Loss on the
by
play.
the Diplomats.
3rd down.
Can't say enough about the effort by Trevino again, coming up from his back end and just laying the hit at the point of attack. So the Stampede now with a 3rd and 15 from their own 29-yard line, closing in on the 5-minute mark here in the first half with the Diplomats leading 6-0. Coach Broom and his staff lining up his kids accordingly, looking for the big play to extend this drive. Horrocks under center, 2-back set. Horrocks the handoff to Jordan Miller. Miller getting outside. Miller to the 35, 40, 45, to the 50, and finally taken down inside the 50, call it the 46-yard line. Jordan Miller off tackle, breaks outside to the left, and a huge gain for the Stampede out to the 46-yard line. A gain of 25 on the play, and the Stampede are on the move. Excellent work by Jordan Miller, who's had some flashy runs in this one and does it yet again. And the Stampede needed that to get out of their territory and to make some moves on this offensive drive. And now they head back to the line of scrimmage with a first down at the 45-yard line. They'll line up with a bunch formation. Horrocks under center, one wide receiver, two backs in the backfield.
On the 45-yard line for your Stampede.
I formation. And do they dial up Jordan Miller yet again as the refs talk things over a little bit? Dominic Gibbons out wide. And they'll move the ball back. Call a penalty against the Stampede to push them back for 5 yards. Or maybe it was the placement on the run. So needs to say a first and 15.
Correction, ball on the 50-yard line. First and 10 for your Stampede. Loss of a yard on the play. Second down. Penalty on the play. False start against the offense. Second down. Gain on the play by the Stampede.
Yard line. Nation. looking for Miller, had him open, just over.
Pass is incomplete.
So this
4th down.
nothing with Coach Sporting offense. With a 4th and 7. Wide up top. In motion. Under center. Correct snap. Try to take it. Busting. Excellent. But he's as he runs. Defensive line.
Go to the 1st down.
Oglesby. Go back the other way. So now the Diplomats go offense with 2:20 left here in the first half. Big play again. Curtis on a 38-yard touchdown in the first quarter. Back on potentially.
Ready?
And the Stampede.
I used to break the times like this.
Can they come up with another great defensive
stand like this in a matter of time I spent on some locked up in the back of the paddy wagon, cuffs locked on wrist. See my dream.
So 1st and 10 for the Diplomats at their own with 2:20 left here in the first half. Barry Shaughnessy leading the Diplomats offensive attack.
On the 44-yard line.
2-back set. Marquell Johnson and Major Coleman in the backfield. Takes the handoff. And the run on the outside by Marquell Johnson. And Marquell Johnson could go all the way. Johnson loses the football, but is picked up and taken in by Jakari Russell.
Ball is recovered by the Diplomats.
And the Diplomats are on the board yet again. Marquell Johnson, big run on the outside, fumbled the football, but Jakari takes it in, and the Diplomats with a 12-0 lead. Excellent work by Johnson getting to the perimeter, and excellent work by Jakari Russell hustling on the play for the touchdown. So Coach Johnson talked about the explosiveness of his team. His son, Marquell Jr., showing his athleticism, breaking to the outside in the play, and then Jakari Russell talk about a heads-up team play, execution, hustling, and following the football and scooping and scoring. As the Diplomats, the undefeated squad with a record of 6-0 on the season, strike yet again in the second quarter. So it looks like the Diplomats will take a break, and we'll talk this one over on the extra point attempt. Leading 12-0. Great defense and showing their big play offensive execution. Coach Johnson had a chance to talk to him right before the game. Had a chance to talk to him this week. Was very confident about his kids coming into this one. And so far, they've lived up to the hype. Touchdown run by Jakari Russell. Then it's Johnson and Russell finishing off the work for a long touchdown. Now on the extra point attempt for the Diplomats. Snap. Shaughnessy will take it, and Shaughnessy will get in for the extra point. Shaughnessy calls his own number,
Is good.
and Shaughnessy takes it in for the extra point.
Diplomats, your Stampede, nothing.
Now a 13 lead. Excellent work by the Diplomats. That great offensive line. Can't say enough about the big fellas. Number 3, Alfred Trevino. Number 32 at right tackle, Brandon Walker. Right guard, Gabe Jones. Number 31, center, Jordan Labata. Number 52, left guard, Maximus Dominguez. And left tackle, J.J. McGill. But there was a penalty on that play. Play was called back.
Play was called back. Going in for the extra point attempt.
So now we'll do it all over again. Tight formation, Shaughnessy. And this one,
Penalty on the play. False start against the offense.
false start against the offense. So the Diplomats get in. Play got overturned. Now a penalty against the Diplomats. So we're stuck on 12-0 for the extra point attempt. So we got a timeout on the field.
Timeout on the field.
If you're just joining us on the NYFCA network, it's the 7U showdown for the championship. Between the Diplomats and the Stampede, these squads met twice this season. Diplomats won both fair by the count of 21-2 and 12-0, and they are leading this one late in the first half by the count of 12-0 with under 2 minutes left here in the first half. On hand, plenty of awnings for some sun coverage. Beautiful day in Arizona. Should be about 10 degrees cooler to make it that much nicer, but either way, we got some good Chamber of Commerce weather here in Grand Canyon State. So the Stampede rolling back out on the field. Talking for the
Extra point attempt is no good. Your current score.
Diplomats strike
12
yet.
for your
Scored
Diplomats.
the first.
Stampede,
They
nothing.
scored in the second. 12-0 lead for the Stampede back on offense. Down 12-0 with a minute 54 left in the first half. Coach Anthony Broom.
Y'all ready for this?
They're all very coachable and want to get better. Minute 54 left from North Canyon High School. The 7U championship game between the Diplomats in the pink, black, and silver, and the Stampede in the gray or out here. On both sides, having a good time watching these youngsters get after it. Stand
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's stand up for the kickoff and cheer on your team.
for their game. Looking to make some noise on the return. And this one up and Gibbons looks like ball at the 47-yard line.
Stampede would take the ball at the
At the
47-yard line.
7
First and 10.
with a minute 44 left. Coach Broom was confident this time to go. Now he up high you can of course down the backfield and the whole step up. Go.
Loss on the play. Second down.
Very well. Third coming up and making
Second and long on the 39-yard line.
for the Stampede, 12-0. 18 on the 39 line.
Timeout on the field.
Don't get out her body. Keep right beside me. I'ma get in that thing, get it sliding. Making me feel. She gotta get on this rocket. I'm doing for 5 miles. And her grandma related to the windings. Ooh, that's the shit that I like. You a church girl, but you like Chris. You ain't never had police like this kind of you all night off. Oh, perfect. Yeah,
Johnson.
what a work it. My young waking up Saturday.
Ross.
My dance and these $1,000 pants. Don't disrespect me and my man. A whole lot of chops on your gram. Put some $1,000 on your head. She's new. Get his mama to the feds. Little brother, big brother, side got the dress. DZ, side keep the bands. Little got the eight on my hands. Got a real.
Field.
Gain of 2 yards on the play. Third down. Timeout on the field.
One back step is
Fourth down. Timeout. Diplomats.
Right now, no. 5 seconds left here. Think seconds left here in the first half. The Diplomats leading 12-0. And the Diplomats trying to get things in order for this final 35 seconds. First and 10 for their own 23. Johnson talking to his team, getting things in order. The handoff. Ball is loose on the turf. Picked up by Mark Johnson. Johnson breaking outside. Johnson up 50. The 40-yard line.
Diplomats with a large gain on the play. That ball is now on the 47-yard line.
Was on the turf, and Johnson picked it up for the first gain for the Diplomats. So Diplomats on the move here with 19 seconds. 12. By Mark Johnson, ball on the turf.
Penalty on the play.
With 18 seconds left in the first half. Coach Johnson getting things in order. Up.
No penalty.
First,
Penalty on the play.
the definitely called.
False start against the offense. That will bring up first and long for your Diplomats. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to halftime.
have an opportunity to talk to head coach Quill Johnson.
Awkward. Do I look familiar? I should. You might remember me from here. Here. Or maybe even here.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
It can actually be a perfect moment to reach out to a friend and ask if they're okay if they seem down.
It doesn't matter how you say it.
You all right?
Everything's okay?
All G?
You all right, girl? You cool?
You bugging dog.
Just show you're there for them.
Go on, Kelly. CZ awkward.
Hey, you haven't really been yourself lately.
Check.
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Test.
And I can't change.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's raffle time. Those blue tickets you got at the front gate, let's go ahead and put them all out.
My love, she keeps me warm.
Take a look at the last three digits.
Keeps me warm.
Start with
She keeps me warm.
994-035. You have 035. Go to the front gate. We've got gift certificates and races and game cards.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less
So
than
if
any
I
other
call your
family.
number, go to the front gate to pick up your prize. One more time, 035. The next one is 1.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics.
1.
Come on in, girls.
The next
Let's
one is
go.
0.
This
3,
is the first
0,
rocket to get
3,
humans to
3.
Mars.
Take a look at your ticket for 062.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars.
09.
Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands? Yes. You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
112 079 079.
I don't remember how it
One
started.
more for 090090.
Our back and forth.
01601.
It always came back.
032. Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
078.
but I heard every word.
078. And then last but not least, 091091. Those with the raffle tickets meet at the front gate. You'll see Zach in the black hat with the white shirt, and he will be handing out your prizes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us at the NYFCA Championship game for the, this is the 7U division. Joe, we'll turn it over to you.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
the big run for the touchdown, and Jakari Russell picking that one up and scooping and scoring. The defense has done a great job for your squad.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with our defense, and again, like I said, just minor adjustments, a couple more plays in the ball, and I think we got it. I think we're going to pull it out.
So, Coach, the message for your squad at half. There's still a lot of football left to be played.
Focus, lock in, and let's go finish the play, finish the game. That's it.
There you go. And for you, Coach, for your kids that have fought so hard to be here on this Saturday, what does it mean to them and for you to be here and just to enjoy this day, win, lose, or draw?
It means the world. You know, I wouldn't trade these kids for nothing in the world, whether we win, draw, tie, anything.
Beautiful. Anthony Broom of the 7U Stampede. His team is trailing 12-0 at the half. Coach, best of luck in the second frame.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. And coming up later on the broadcast, we'll hear from the senior, his team in the 12-0 halftime lead. Stick with the NYFCA Sports Network.
Hey, Mike's got a green light on it. It's not you.
Welcome back to North Canyon High School. This is the 7U NYFCA title game between the Stampede and the Diplomats. The Diplomats leading at the half by the count of 2-0. Diplomats head coach Mark Whale Johnson, senior, and coach. All smiles on your side with your team with time lead.
Yeah, 12-0 lead, but it's a lot of stuff we got to improve on. And we've been talking to him on his break, and I think we're ready to go.
Coach, we had a good conversation this week, and we talked about Mr. Jakari Russell. And you talked speed. You say, look, if this kid gets in the secondary, you're not catching him. And we saw that first quarter for the 38-yard touchdown.
Yeah, Jakari. Speed demon. Speed demon. What's that Michael Jackson song? Speed demon. That's Jakari Russell.
Absolutely. And then in the second, your son breaking out in the perimeter, breaking on 20-yard line, lost the football, but Jakari right there, heads up play, the scoop and the score.
Yeah, I had to talk to him about that. He supposed to score on that one. He's also supposed to score at the end. So, yeah, I had to talk to him about that. But he's having fun. As long as he's having fun, that's all that matters.
Well, Coach, you got a 12 halftime lead. You've beaten the Stampede twice this season to secure this victory and win the championship, because it's all about winning the gold ball today. What does your team have to do to secure the victory in the second half?
Just stay humble, stay focused. We've been preaching being focused all season, so just stay humble and stay focused, and we're going to come home with that gold trophy.
And Coach, I'm going to get your thoughts on how much this means to your team to be here today, for all the hard work, practices, and for the coaches as well, to be here today, to be in this position, to be so close to a championship.
Oh, man, being a first-year team, it means a lot. It means that we're making a name here in Arizona, and we want to make our name regionals, which is in a couple of weeks. Then we want to make our name nationally. So we got one step at a time. We're trying to take over Arizona.
There you go, Mark. Neon uniforms. High halftime lead. They get a big run by Jakari Russell. They get a run by and then Jakari Russell scoops and scores with a 12-0 halftime. More from North High School. second half kickoff. Is right about
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now? I think it's good. Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put
No gain on the play. Second down.
starting the second half with the ball. As Coach Mark Quayle Johnson liking what he's seeing from his squad in the first half, getting a Jakari Russell touchdown run. Then it was a Johnson big run, fumbled the football, and Russell scooped and scored for a 12-0 lead. And now it's the second frame. As the Diplomats come out with a two-back set, looking to make some more noise, and there's a whistle on the field. Penalty against the Stampede. And that's not what Coach Broom wanted to see from his defense here. Needs to stop and needs his offense to click, and the Diplomats will move the other way as they get the penalty in their favor. Nice day from North Phoenix for a championship Saturday. 7U style NYFCA. The Diplomats with a 12-0 lead.
Second and 5 for your Diplomats.
A 2nd and 5 for the Diplomats at their own 41. Tight formation, two-back set. Horrocks under center. Handoff. eaten up at the line of scrimmage. This time Johnson
on the play. 3rd down.
gets taken down for a loss of 1. So a 3rd and 6 for the Diplomats. Second half just underway. Diplomats with a 12-0 lead. Coach Johnson getting his team lined up and ready to execute offensively. Horrocks under center, 2-back set. Coleman and Johnson in the backfield. Horrocks the handoff, and the whistle blows.
Penalty on the play.
A penalty on the play. And the refs call a false start.
False start against the offense.
Against the Diplomats, and Coach Johnson not liking what he's seeing, wants his team to be focused and locked in for what they have to do. Coach Johnson constantly teaching and working with his young men, and that's great to see as these kids learn and grow and mature and learn how to play the game. So a 3rd and 11 for the Diplomats at their own 35. Stampede looking for a stop. Horrocks under center, 2-back set. Coleman and Johnson. The handoffs to Coleman. Coleman busts into the secondary and takes it out to the 40, but that will be short. Great effort by the Stampede. And the Diplomats
That play brings up 4th down on the 40-yard line.
are talking things over on whether they're going to go for it or not. A 4th and 6 at their own 40. Coach Johnson got a first quarter touchdown from Jakari Russell. And Coach Johnson decides to do the smart thing and let the Stampede go back on offense on their side of the field. And that's a smart play. Stampede, other than a couple great Jordan Miller runs, haven't really found itself offensively. And Coach Johnson not taking any chances by giving the Stampede a short field. So the Stampede will take over with a 1st and 10 from their 26.
1st and 10 for the Stampede on the 25-yard line.
Stampede led by number 12, quarterback Caleb Horrocks. Running backs Dominic Gibbons and Jordan Miller.
26-yard line.
Wide receiver Donovan Caceres, Cash Roman. And the Stampede looking to make a run here in the second half to draw this one closer. Stampede getting lined up. Tight formation. Man in motion for the Stampede. Breaking outside. Excellent run. And taken down at the 42. Caleb Horrocks on the keeper, and Horrocks delivers. Takes it out to the 42.
Huge gain on the play.
And there's a man down on the field for the Diplomats. And the trainers come out. And everyone taking a knee for the Diplomats as well as the Stampede. We'll try to get you some information on the young man as soon as that becomes available. If you're just joining us, the Stampede and Diplomats meeting in the 7U title game, and good to see Marquell Johnson getting up and gingerly working his way to the sidelines. And he gets a good round of applause from the fans. And he'll take a breather underneath the tent. Never want to see any of these young men, these great young people,
1st and 10 for the Stampede.
Get injured any way possible. So 6 minutes left here in the third quarter. with the Diplomats leading 12-0. Diplomats have gotten great defensive pressure by their D-line, and the Stampede looking to make some noise offensively. With Horax under center, one back set, Jordan Miller in the backfield. This time it's Miller, and Miller loses the football. Ball is loose.
Fumble on the play.
And the Stampede recover. Heads up play by the Stampede. By guard Harley Hill. Harley Hill on the fumble recovery.
Play will bring up 2nd and long.
So it's a 2nd and long for the Stampede at their own 36. Coach Broom needing a collective effort from his team to rally to pull this one out. Tight formation, Miller in the backfield. Caleb Horrocks under center. One wide receiver up top. Man in motion. This time it's Miller, and Miller avoids a tackle, but he is gobbled up. Excellent work by defensive end Alfred Trevino Jr. Called his number a lot today. Coach Marquell Johnson talked about Trevino being aggressive, hungry, and a player ready to get after it. And we've seen that on multiple occasions here today.
Loss of a yard on the play. 3rd down.
So 3rd and 16 for the Stampede. From their own 36. Closing in on 4 minutes left here to play in the 3rd. Diplomats leading 12-0. Horrocks under center. Horrocks now in the shotgun formation. 3 wide receiver set, takes the snap. Horrocks tries to break it outside, and he's taken down by a slew of Diplomats defenders. The Diplomats defense stepping up yet again.
Gain 2 yards on the play.
Down.
4th down.
So the Diplomats will go back on offense. And the Diplomat fans giving some big props to the youngsters as they go back on offense with 3:21 left here to play in the 3rd. Marquell Johnson got a Jakari Russell touchdown in the 1st. Then a big run by his son Marquell Johnson Jr. Lost the ball inside the 20, but Russell was there to scoop and score, and that is where we are. Coach Johnson getting excellent work by his defense all across the way, from cornerback Peyton Olson, defensive end Gabe Jones, defensive tackle Brandon Walker, defensive tackle Maximus Dominguez, of course Alfred Trevino Jr., cornerback Jackson Anderson, inside linebacker Karan Oglesby, outside linebacker Barry Shaughnessy, linebacker Marquell Johnson, of course safety Jakari Russell, and outside linebacker Major Coleman. And now the Diplomats back on offense. Shaughnessy under center, joined by Major Coleman in the backfield. Shaughnessy, 2 back set. The handoff, inside run, and this one is a good one. 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, and a 73-yard touchdown run by Jakari Russell. Jakari Russell blows this one open with a 73-yard touchdown run, and the Diplomats now lead 18-0. Jakari Russell. Coach Johnson couldn't say enough about him. You get him in the open field, you won't catch him. And Russell showing the game-breaking speed yet again as the Diplomats go on top 18-0 with 3:05 left here in the 3rd. Jakari Russell getting a big hand from the fans as he steps out in the field. The youngster making some big time noise in the 7U title game. Coming up big for his team defensively, coming up big for his squad offensively as the Diplomats have blown this one open, leading 18-0 here in the third. And the Diplomats will go for the extra point. Horrocks under center. Ball is loose on the turf. And the Stampede will swap
extra
up.
point attempt is no good. Your current score.
But the Diplomats are feeling good about where they are with an 18-0 lead. All good if you're a Diplomats fan. A squad that was 6-0 on the season. Already defeated the Stampede twice in the regular season. And now they're going for the hat trick with an 18-0 lead. Championship Saturday here at North Canyon. The 7U NYFCA title game between the Diplomats and the Stampede.
I like it.
And the Stampede, their fan base is feeling it.
Okay, here we go. We got you. We got you.
Now Coach Anthony Broom is hoping for a late surge by his squad to get back in this one. Other than a couple of Jordan Miller runs so far, Stampede hasn't had the ability to get anything going offensively. So now, the Diplomats will kick this one off with Jordan Miller set to receive for the Stampede. And the Diplomats in cruise control. Getting another big run by Jakari Russell for an 18-0 lead. Beautiful day for football at North Canyon. A little warmer than expected. But right now, it's the Diplomats bringing up the heat on the field, leading 18-0 and dominating on both sides of football.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for your team on the kickoff.
And here come the Diplomats on the kickoff with Jordan Miller set to receive, but it's taken by an up man, and the up man tries to break outside, and he gets taken down, call at the 42-yard line. So, the Stampede
will pick up their 1st and 10 on the 41-yard line.
Going back to work offensively with the 1st and 10 at their own 41. Looking to make some noise here in this third frame as it winds down, and got to wonder what Coach Broom has in the bag of tricks to potentially get back in this one.
Correction, 43-yard line.
Caleb Horrocks start throwing the ball downfield, maybe finding Dominic Gibbons or maybe Jordan Miller or his receivers Cash Roman or Donovan Ciceres as they step up to the line of scrimmage with a 1st and 10 at their own 43.
1, 2, 3.
1st and 10 for the Stampede. With a one-back set, Miller in the backfield. 2 wide receivers up top. Horrocks under center. A receiver in motion. Miller, the handoff. Miller breaks into the secondary. Miller, 40, 35, 30, stays in bounds. Jordan Miller finally gets taken down at the 5-yard line. We've talked about Jordan Miller all day today, and Jordan Miller does it yet again with a big run.
Trainer.
A 52-yard run. But there's a player down on the field, and it is Jordan Miller right now. The Diplomats take a knee. And the coaches are calling for some water. And maybe one of the trainers, hopefully he's just cramping right now, and that's all it is. Young man has had such a fantastic football game today, offensively and defensively. And Miller getting up gingerly after that 52-yard run to give the Stampede a chance to get back in this one. And that would be a huge loss for the Stampede if he can't return in this one. So now the onus could fall on running back Dominic Givens. Haven't heard much of him today, but he will get his number called moving forward. Jordan Miller will have a speedy recovery in this one as a Stampede with a 1st and goal at the 6-yard line. Their best drive of the day, courtesy of a Jordan Miller 52-yard run. Miller with over 100 yards in this one has been sensational on the ground. So Horrocks in the shotgun. Kylie Lazzarato in the backfield with them. Horrocks takes the handle. Try to break it outside, but gets taken down. We'll call it the 5-yard line. Might have been a busted play. But Horrocks makes the most of it. Taking it.
No gain on the play. 2nd down.
Not losing any yardage on the play. A 2nd and 6 for the Stampede. Givens now in the backfield on a 1-back set. Horrocks under center. Minute 30 left here in the 3rd quarter. Stampede at the 6-yard line. Horrocks to handle. Givens trying to get outside. And Givens just does that and gets taken down. We'll call it at the 2. Looked like he was going to turn the corner for 6, but excellent pursuit by the Diplomats to save the touchdown. So it's 3rd and 2, and no question this will be 4-down territory for the Stampede, trailing 18-0. A 3rd and 2 from the 2. Stampede, their best drive of the day, courtesy of a Jordan Miller 52-yard gain. Horrocks under center of the handoff, and Givens will go in for the touchdown. Dominic Givens found the hole and delivers. And the Stampede are on the scoreboard. Great drive by the Stampede. Getting a big run by Jordan Miller, a 52-yard gain to the 6-yard line. And Givens caps it off with a 2-yard run. And the Stampede not going away yet, now trailing 18-6. Excellent work by that Stampede offensive line. Can't say enough about them. Shout-outs number 2 tackle Jason Loza, number 99 guard Harley Hill, number 56 center Roman Cota, number 62 guard Benjamin Jones, number 5 tackle Cameron Laird, number 26 tight end Hill Williams, all doing their part up front. And now the Stampede going for the extra point handoff. Horrocks direct snap. Horrocks gets outside, and Horrocks will be taken down short of the goal line.
Extra point attempt is no good. Your current score, 18.
And excellent work by
6 for the Stampede.
The Diplomats holding Horrocks short of the end zone. So the Stampede getting back in this one. On the touchdown run by Dominic Givens, it's now 18-6. The action heating up, and of course later on coming up on the NYFCA Sports Network, it'll be the 6U title game. It's all about the Stampede organization. It's the black versus the orange, and of course we'll be streaming live here from North Canyon High School. So the Stampede showing their toughness and resiliency. Getting the touchdown run by Givens. Now making it 18-6. Now the Stampede will kick off. The Diplomats will be set to receive. And we'll see now how the Diplomats answer after giving up the touchdown on the long touchdown drive by the Stampede. Kylie Lanzarato set to kick for the Stampede. And the Diplomats set to return with 34 seconds left here in the third quarter. Lanzarato boots one, taken by the up man, and they'll just fall on it. Stampede, we're looking for a possible fumble.
Pick up their ball on the 49-yard line.
Donovan Caceres going in high and looking for that fumble recovery, but give props where props are due. And the Diplomats fall on it, and they'll take over with a 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line. 31 seconds left here in the third quarter, with the Diplomats now leading 18-6. Back on offense with Barry Shaughnessy under center, 2-back set. Let's see what the Diplomats have in store for their drive here to close out the third. Delayed handoff to Marquell Johnson, and he is eaten up. Great defensive work by the Stampede, bringing the pressure from the interior. A loss of 3 on the play, so a 2nd and 13 for the Diplomats as time is winding down here in the third, and Coach Johnson will just casually take his team down to regroup for the fourth quarter. And that'll do it at the end of 3 from North Canyon High School in the 7U NYFCA title game. It's the Diplomats leading the Stampede 18-6. We'll have more from North Canyon High coming up after the break. Stampede started the fourth quarter with the Diplomats with a 2nd and 13 at their own 46 with a 18-6 lead. Coach Johnson getting his offense in motion. Barry Shaughnessy under center, 2-back set. The handoff is to Coleman. Coleman, some nifty running on the outside, and Coleman takes it to the other side of the field. Major Coleman, some fancy footwork.
Gain on the play.
Excellent work by the Diplomats. Nice gain. Takes it to the, call it the 48-yard line. So we'll call it 3rd and 6 for the Diplomats with the fourth quarter just underway. Coach Johnson instructing his team with a 12-point lead, clock in its favor. Stampede getting things corrected on the defensive side. Shaughnessy under center, 2-back set. Shaughnessy will take it. Shaughnessy breaks outside, and Shaughnessy into the open field. Takes it down to the 40-yard line.
Bring up first down for the Diplomats.
And that'll give the Diplomats a first down at the 40-yard line. So the Diplomats answering on their offensive possession. After the Stampede go the length of the field and get the touchdown run by Dominic Givens. Now the Stampede defensively after they answer the call as the Diplomats are now on the move. Shaughnessy with a great keeper for a gain as Coach Johnson adjusts his offense. Bunch formation, 2-back set. With Johnson and Coleman in the backfield. Coleman takes the handoff. Coleman breaks a couple tackles in the backfield, but loses a yard or two. Great work by that Stampede.
No gain on the play. Second down.
Defensive effort by outside linebacker Cash Bayman coming up and making the stop. Under 8 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. And the Diplomats with an 18-6 lead with a 2nd 11 at the Stampede 40-yard line. Can't say enough about the Diplomats' offensive line. They've dominated on both sides. This game today all about big plays, and the Diplomats have had their share. 2nd 11 at their 40, I formation. Handoff outside. Good run. Takes it inside the 35. Excellent work by the Diplomats, by Jakari Russell. Once again, Russell,
on the play.
the playmaker, busting it to the outside for a gain of 8. And the Diplomats with a 3rd and 3 at the 32. And this could be 2-down territory for the Diplomats to essentially put this one away. They grab a first down. The clock continues to roll with a 12-point lead here in the fourth. Shaughnessy under center, 2-back set with Coleman and Johnson in the backfield. Refs blow the whistle. They're talking things over. Let's hear the call from the referees. Could be trying to adjust the clock potentially. And there should be 6:44 on the clock. 6:44 on the clock. And that's the call, 6:44 on the clock. So the refs get things adjusted. Good job by them, keeping the time coordinated. So back to live action. Ball is on the turf, and the Stampede fall on it.
On the play.
Excellent work by the Stampede. Coming up with a fumble recovery.
That'll bring up 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line.
Excellent work by the Stampede. Courtesy of Enoch Chavez on the fumble recovery. So the Stampede not done yet. They go back on work offensively with 6:40 left here in the fourth, trailing 18-6. Dominic Givens came up with a big touchdown run on the last possession. Will he be a factor here? With 6:40 left and the Stampede needing big plays. Caleb Horrocks in shotgun. One wide receiver down below. Man in motion. Horrocks takes the handle. Horrocks trying to break it outside, but he is eaten up alive.
Penalty on the play.
Penalty on the play as Karan Oglesby came up with the tackle. Excellent work by Oglesby, a big, strong, physical player on the defensive side of the football. And the refs are talking this one over on the penalty. We'll see what the call is. It's going to be, looks like a false start against the Stampede. So declined by the Diplomats, and rightfully so after the big tackle by Oglesby. So
False start against the offense.
the Stampede with some work to do with a 2nd and 15 from their 33. Stampede essentially in 4-down territory, down 12, and the clock not in their favor. Jordan Miller in the backfield looking for the direct snap. And Miller can't handle the snap and is taken down by the Diplomats. So a loss on the play. So right now, the Stampede with a long way to go to get in the end zone.
Brings up 3rd and long for the Stampede.
And hurting themselves on the snaps. So a 3rd and 20 for the Stampede at their own 28 with under 6 minutes left here in the 7U title game from North Canyon High. Stampede coaching staff trying to get things in order. Tight formation. Miller will take the direct snap. Miller gets it, and he'll keep it. Miller getting to the outside, the 30, the 35, and he is taken down by Jakari Russell. Jakari Russell. If there's a player of the game in this one, number 10 has got my vote. Russell coming from the outside and taking Miller down, or Miller might have broken even longer, possibly for the first down. So the Stampede will take a timeout. And Coach Broom and his staff have got to talk this one over, trailing 18-6. But a quality pickup on that one, a gain of 10. So now they have some work to do, but possibly a chance to get the first down. They're facing a 4th and 11 at their 37. And Coach Broom and his staff, they have no choice but to go for it. Trailing by 12 with 5:12 left in this one. And who steps up for the Stampede? Could it be Dominic Givens, who scored the Stampede's only touchdown in this one? 4th and 11 at their 37. Horrocks shotgun formation. Tight blocking scheme for the Stampede. One wide receiver down below for the Stampede. Man in motion. Horrocks throws it downfield, and he had Miller, and Miller could not come up with it, just out of his reach. If it's a good throw, it's probably going for a touchdown. But instead, the Diplomats go back on offense.
No good. Diplomats will pick up the ball. 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line.
So Marquell Johnson and his staff closing in on a championship. With 5:07 left. Gets a big touchdown run by Jakari Russell. The Jakari Russell scoop and score. And then later, another Jakari Russell touchdown for an 18-0 lead. And Stampede answer with a Dominic Givens touchdown run. And Diplomats looking to kill 5 minutes and 7 seconds of this clock for potentially a championship. Stampede in the gray, black, and orange. The Diplomats in the black, pink, and gold. Ball is loose on the turf. Coleman picks it up. Coleman bounces it outside. Coleman, the 35, the 30, breaks it back to the, call it the 23-yard line. Marquel Johnson.
Recovered. Brings up 1st and 10.
Excellent work by Marquel Johnson. Heads up, finds the fumble on the carpet, picks it up, and ran to the 24-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Diplomats as the clock continues to work in their favor. 1st and 10 at the 24. And the Diplomats will chew up as much time as they possibly can. Leading 18-6 after the big run by Johnson with the 1st down at the 24-yard line. And the Diplomats will take a timeout. So in case you're just tuning in on the NYFCA network, 7U championship game between the Stampede and Diplomats. Diplomats got the scoring going with a Jakari Russell 38-yard end around for a touchdown. Then in the second quarter, it was Marquel Johnson with a big run and fumbled inside the 20, and then Russell picked it up and scored. And then Jakari Russell later on with another touchdown run. Stampede answered on a Dominic Gibbons short 2-yard touchdown run after a Jordan Miller 52-yard gain. And that is where we are with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left with the Diplomats with a 1st and 10 at the Stampede 24. And here come the Diplomats coming out of the timeout. Let's see what Coach Johnson has dialed up for his team as he gets them situated. Barry Shaughnessy under center. 2-back set with Coleman and Marquel Johnson. The handoff is to Johnson, and Johnson, for a quality gain, takes it to about the 18-yard line. So the Diplomats on the move, the offensive line taking care of business, and the clock in their favor. Marquel Johnson in his first year with the team, doing an excellent job and loves coaching these kids. And they are 3 minutes and 30 seconds away from a championship. Leading 18-6 with a 2nd and 4 at the 18. Coach Johnson getting his team running up to the line of scrimmage. Coming up with Shaughnessy under center, Coleman and Johnson in the backfield. Handoff is to Coleman. And Coleman takes it down to about the 13-yard line.
That play will bring up 1st and goal.
So a 1st down for the Diplomats as they spot the ball at the 11-yard line, a 1st and 10. Diplomats with the lead, with the football and the clock in their favor. Offensive line really with Coleman and Johnson ripping runs. 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. And the Diplomats comfortable with the lead and working the clock as they hustle up to the line. And we've got a timeout on the field. The Stampede will take it. Trailing by 12 with 2:21 left. So, the Diplomats entered the game with a record of 6-0. They've played the Stampede twice this season, winning both matchups. Third time is always the hardest, and for the most part, the Diplomats have had their way in this one. Getting big runs by Jakari Russell. The defense, led by Alfred Trevino, doing an excellent job. And they're closing in on the 7U NYFCA title. Clock is in their favor with 2:21 left, with the 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. And for the Stampede, they're hoping for a fumble on the turf and a long scoop and score for a touchdown to potentially get back into this one. Diplomats loose on the sidelines. Got a young man doing a little dancing there. He's got some good moves. Kids having some fun. Kids working the dance moves on the sidelines. You know what? If it makes you feel good, do it. Stampede coming back on the field defensively. Diplomats coming up to the line of scrimmage with the 1st and 10 at the 11. Shaughnessy walks them up. Coleman and Johnson in the backfield. Shaughnessy doing a great job directing traffic. Handoff is to Johnson. Johnson getting outside, and Marquale Johnson goes in for the touchdown.
Touchdown, Diplomats.
And the Diplomats put the exclamation on the board, now leading 24-6. Johnson off tackle right side and follows his blocks and gets into the end zone. And the Diplomats extend their lead in the 7U title game from North Canyon High. Excellent work by Johnson getting to the outside. And now the Diplomats will line up for the extra point attempt with Coleman and Johnson in the backfield. Shaughnessy under center. The handoff to number 55, and number 55 barrels in for the extra point attempt. Gabe Jones, the big guard defensive end, gets in for the extra point. And it's now 25-6 Diplomats. So great work by the Diplomats answering the Stampede drive with a touchdown drive of their own. Marquale Johnson getting to the outside for the touchdown. Gabe Jones, the big fella, the defensive end, guard, and the offensive line, gets in for the extra point. And the Diplomats with a 25-6 lead. And a good times on the Diplomat sidelines and fan base. Got some young and a lot of people having a good time out here. And the Diplomats doing some dancing on their sidelines, having some good times. Oh yeah, they're working the dance moves.
All right,
they got the moves and
for your team on the kickoff.
Diplomats with a 25-6 lead as they'll kick this one away. Stampede up man. Almost lost the football, recovered. So the Stampede will recover
Stampede will pick up their 1st and 10 on the
Call it at the
47
47-yard line. With 2:12 left in this one. Excellent work by the Diplomats in this one. Undefeated on the season. And looking to close the season out in style. To put a cherry on top. And the Stampede. A lot of props for the young men in the gray, orange, and black playing so hard today as well. Stampede offensively. Caleb Horrocks in the gun. 3 wide receivers up top. 1 down below, man in motion. Horrocks takes the snap, and he gets taken down by a slew of Diplomats.
Loss on the play.
And a big hit in the middle. Excellent work by number 52 of the Diplomats. Big props to Maximus Dominguez. And talking to Marquel Johnson about Maximus Dominguez, he says, look, as long as I'm coaching, that's a young man I want going up with me the whole time. And he showed why in that play. Jordan Miller. Stoppage of play as the Stampede will take a timeout. With a minute 26 left. And the Diplomats leading 25-6. Diplomats have brought their A game here today offensively and defensively. Offensively, it's been the Jakari Russell show, 3 touchdowns, and Marquel Johnson adding another. And defensively, Russell's been outstanding, as well as Karan Oglesby and Alfred Trevino as well. 25-6 with a minute 26 left here from North Canyon High. 7U title game. As the Stampede get back on offense. Caleb Horrocks in the shotgun. Horrocks takes the snap. Will take it. Breaking it outside. Horrocks. Good run to the 40. Finally taken down. Call it the 47-yard line. Excellent work by Caleb Horrocks.
Down for your Stampede.
Big first down run. So the Stampede on the move. But time is not in their favor with under a minute left and counting. 50 seconds left as the Diplomats, undefeated coming in, and they'll remain that way when this one's over for the NYFCA 7U Championship. Marquel Johnson on the sidelines talking to his youngsters, congratulating the young men on a fine season, beating the Stampede for a 3rd time this season. As the Stampede, the handoff, and the Diplomats eat it up at the point of attack. And now 10 seconds left for the Diplomats.
2nd down.
And the water is coming out on the field. Coach Johnson and his youngsters. The water is flying.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us
and that is it. The Diplomats win the 7U championship. 25-6.
Thank you everybody for coming out.
We'll have more from North Canyon High School coming up after the break.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I am here with Stampede's coach, Anthony Broom. And Coach, I want to present to you the state championship runner-up trophy and a great season for the Stampede. For all the Stampede fans out there, how about a big hand for these kids? And Coach, for your squad, for all the hard practices, all the hard work, how proud are you of these young men and women here today?
I'm very, very proud, man. Everybody, you guys played great. Don't hold your heads down. We're going to get right back to it next season.
There you go, some effort and energy that will continue to come from the Stampede. And Coach, when we look at all these great young men and women, how many future high school football stars do we have out here?
All of them.
There you go. The Stampede, a record of 4-3 on the season, coming out to North Canyon, battling so hard, giving a great effort, representing their organization with style, class, and poise. Once again, a big hand for the 7U Stampede. Great job, everyone. Enjoy the day. Assistant coaches, great job in the backfield. No question, constant teaching and maturing by all of you to help these young men and women. Excellent job by the assistant coaches getting the Stampede in the right place. Now, on the other side, we'll be hearing from the Diplomats, the winner of the 7U title game, and that's coming up in just a bit. with the 7U NYFCA champions. Ladies and gentlemen, the Diplomats. I am here with the victorious Marquel Johnson. Coach, I know this one's going to feel good. Here you go.
Yes, you do.
Around and Coach Johnson, how satisfying is this one? You came in with a record of 6-0 and you remain undefeated. A perfect season capped off by a great effort here at North Canyon High.
Well, great congratulations to the Stampede. They're a well-coached organization, well-coached team. So once again, give it up for Stampede. As far as with us, we're a first-year team. Like I told you at halftime, we wanted to make our mark here in Arizona. Next is Texas, and then next is Florida. So let's give it up for that.
So the Diplomats with some big ambitions, and of course, throughout this great contest, there were some excellent efforts. Let's bring in Alfred Trevino. Where is Alfred Trevino? You know, Coach, when we talked about your team, you talked about Alfred Trevino as a young man with a nonstop motor, and here he was today bringing the energy. Alfred, talk about what you were trying to do defensively for your team today. He doesn't know, but you know what he knows? He knows football. And last I checked, he's pretty ridiculously good at it. And how about getting the scoring started for the Diplomats? Where is the playmaker, Mr. Jakari Russell? Where is Jakari Russell? There he is. Jakari Russell, he's short in stature. Come here, champ. See this way. A couple big touchdown runs on the day. Talk about your day and what does it mean to you to win the championship? There you go. Because the all about the day, it is about the bling bling and the ding ding, right? Thank you, Jakari. And how about the tailback who is so explosive, Mr. Marquel Johnson Jr. What's up, Marquel? Great game for you. What does this mean for you to win the championship today?
I'm just happy because
There you go. And how did it feel? There you go, a man short in words, but huge in talent, just like the Diplomats. Big hands for the Diplomat players, their coaches. They are your 7U NYFCA champions.